So what was the impetus in starting ACTO?
My start meeting?
Please do, yeah.
Back in the day, long story short, Laura Whitworth, who's since passed away from CTI, and I were co-chairs of what we called the Portfolio Exam Committee, I think it was. That's my recollection.
Well, there's several committees going on at the same time. That was one of them.
Mm-hmm.
The key one that I remember is the formation of the competencies.
Well, and that's what, and we did that as a subcommittee of the thing. And so we spent a long time, almost a year or something, weekly having conversations about what is a core competency, stripping away all the philosophical bases and seeing what was left, and then finding the 11 competencies that we actually are with today. And after that, as a result of that, well, let me back up just a moment. Laura and I, when we were made co-chairs, went, and our charge was to create a way to assess the competency of coaching, and we didn't have any competencies.
We didn't.
We didn't have any structures of things, and so that subcommittee was created, and we went, who are we to actually come up with these? And so we called you, Coach for Life in San Diego. We called Frederick Hudson, the Hudson Institute. I was Coach U at the time. Laura was CTI. We called Newfield. We called
New
Ventures West. We called Sun, and we called ACT, Friend Fisher.
Yes,
so there was,
ACT.
So there were 8 of us.
That's right.
And so we all worked together for almost a year, I think. And ultimately ended up with the competencies. And so here's my memory, correct me if I'm wrong, is when we got to the place where we kind of did a pre-vote on our agreement of these, we were on the phone and we said, what's next? And then I remember saying, well, why don't we make this formal? And then ACTO came, and but what actually anchored that more than anything, I think, was we then, all of us that were doing that work, flew to Marin County at CTI's training headquarters and sat, and I can remember the picture in my brain is I'm at one end of the table, Frederick Hudson is at the other end of the table, all the rest of us were all on the sides, and we actually did a formal raise your hand vote, and I got goosebumps again just now thinking of it, to say we all agree on these, no matter our philosophical base. Oh, my body. and then it moved from there, Peter.
It was amazing because the 8 schools had very different underpinnings in terms of learning philosophical differences flavors that we brought to coaching. And the work that came out of the competencies in particular was, okay, so can everybody agree that these are exactly the basis of your training? There may be other things you may be interpreting a little bit differently, but there was a camaraderie that was very unique in terms of we were competitors, but we weren't. Not in the committee. We took those hats off. We sat around the table, this is as an ICF member now, all of us, and said, these are competencies that differentiate us in this profession from everything else that's happened before. And that was the other key that I brought in that struck me as we were going through it, is that all the questions that are still being asked today, how is coaching different than consulting and therapy and all the rest of it, how do you define that? And that's what we did.
And we continued to do it for several years after it, and cleaning up jargon and things like that as we went. And so when that was done and we actually came together for ACTO, we started having virtual meetings again. We were, and began to grow the conversation in a variety of ways. And so when we think of where we are today,
well, there's one other founding principle that I remember distinctly at Marin, and that was the idea. We had a long conversation about do we want to be the policeman of people having high quality coach training and barring people coming into the organization as a result of being less than, or do we want to be the inspirers of high standards. And I remember very distinctly there was a very unanimous, we don't want to be the policeman, we don't want to be the guide, setting up the guidelines that, what high quality is. But we do want to emulate that.
Yes.
And we do want to invite people in, whether they are associated with ICF or not, and to inspire them by sharing best practices. And that, I think, has been, for me, the continuation of the inception of ACTO. And I believe it's very much alive today.
Me too. And as we move forward, that conversation continues to expand.
Yes. Yes.
Upcoming partnership with other associations. And I know we talked a few minutes ago about what is the best, what do we think for the future. And this is my preference. And is that we actually expand the conversation on an even more global scale. With some of the other associations, whether it's the ENCC or any of the ones that are actually out there educating.
Yes.
Right. So
yes.
that we can that we can align in standards and share best practices.
Exactly. Yeah. I think we've just begun. The idea of high quality coach training and education is really the key to the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I think it's up to us to support each other to have high standards, high quality, high follow-up, rigorous checking to see that the student has really learned. Not just a skill set, but one of the other major things that we do is the mindset. What's the mindset of the coach?
And the way of being.
No, exactly.
I mean, that's
Exactly. How do they show up? And what are they expecting from a client or not expecting from the client? And what are they contributing to it and not contributing to it that makes it so powerful?
well, and for me, it's even broader than the client-coach relationship. It's the coach approach to engaging with students in a classroom or your children.
Oh, that's so true.
All of what we do just filters into every aspect of someone's life.
It does.
So,
Yes, I mean, students come back and they have better relationships with their spouse, better relationship with their kids, better relationship with their estranged dad, and I mean, just on and on.
or their boss, even.
Even their
Even
boss.
your boss.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's it goes beyond. You're right. The individual formal coaching one-on-one that we all started off with into corporate cultures, organizational cultures, mindsets, having better citizens of the world.
I think we have a great opportunity as educators and partnering in ACTO
Yes.
to help each other continue to find ways to get coaching even more mainstream. Even more mainstream. A lot of us are working in a lot of different venues, whether it's corporate or educational or nonprofits or whatever. And I think ACTO is a wonderful fertile ground for conversations where we can support each other as we move into the future, the way we have been, but even more.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And also geographically. It's worldwide. This is a worldwide phenomenon. It's not a North American-centric
No.
profession anymore.
Okay, so pretty soon, ACTO will be everywhere too.
Amen.